Hi everyone, welcome to Nexus of Thought. And today I'm going to be talking about a rankings video which looks at the 20 greatest inventions and developments in the history of humanity. Just as a caveat before we begin, I will keep these two inventions that have a practical nature to them. And I've decided to group various inventions which are similar or belong to the same family of developments into the same grouping. And this will become more apparent as I go along with the video. So number 20, the 20th position, I'm going to be looking at, I would say, are the various chemistry separation processes that have been developed. Now, one of them is distillation. And I do admit I have somewhat of a bias here because of the fact that I am actually, by degree, a chemical engineer. But these separation processes have allowed us to manufacture all sorts of goods by separating the various chemicals from each other so that they can be used in the various manufacturing processes. So I'm going to put that at number 20. At number 19, I am going to actually put the lens systems, various lens systems that have been developed, such as those involved in the compound microscope or the refracting telescope, glasses and all of those devices. Magnifying glasses would be another one. I would put that at number 19 because they have given us something that's very, very important and very meaningful in our pursuit of how the world looks at both the macro as well as the micro level. In number 18, I'm going to go with nuclear energy and its side developments such as radioactivity, nuclear medicine, and which is now found ubiquitous use throughout the field. And nuclear energy, I suspect, will become the dominant form of energy delivery in the future, or at least it should become one of the dominant forms of energy delivery because of its low carbon footprint and the fact that it's very, very efficient. So I would put that at number 18. Number 17, I'm going to go with vaccines and the idea of immunization, which have allowed us to conquer diseases, a whole host of diseases that were once fatal for childhood. Diseases such as measles and smallpox, etc. So I'm going to put vaccines at number 17. Number 16, I'm going to go with refrigeration because this has allowed us to store food and to live the modern life that we have today. So refrigeration has been key to a lot of that, and the fact that we can do this. And along with refrigeration, I would actually add would be air conditioning. So those two are very, very similar, or they're from the same family of inventions. And so I would put refrigeration and air conditioning at number 16. At number 15 are a whole host of communication technologies. Many of them actually use radio waves. These would be, of course, the radio itself, the satellites, which are used for mass transmission, and the one which I think will probably even get higher on this list, and I'll talk about it actually in different contexts when I talk about another invention later, that would be fiber optics. So all of these, fiber optics, of course, makes use of light, which is also an electromagnetic wave to transmit signals over very, very long distances, and this has formed the backbone of our industry, of the industry and the internet. So I would put that at number 15. At number 14 are the ways in which we have managed to harness water for both power generation, for irrigation. So this would include dams and water irrigation canals, anything along those lines. So I would put that at about number 14. Number 13, I'm going with trains and railways and the use of steam engines. That would be number 13, because that's, of course, allowed us to build transportation hubs across the world, and that we can deliver goods, and has sped up communication, or at least the transportation of articles. So I would put that at about number 13. Number 12, plastics and polymers. These have shaped our modern society, and we use them for better or for worse for a whole host of produced goods. So I would go with those plastics and polymers. Many of them, of course, are offspring of the petrochemical industry, but still they have a very, very widespread use in our society. Not just for disposable items, but we can also use them for various devices that we use in the medical industry, for example. So that would be number 12. Number 11, I'm going to go with the internal combustion engine, which forms the basis of the car. Now, this could be superseded in the future, and probably will be superseded in the future, but its impact on civilization up to this point in time has been immense, and it cannot be downplayed. I mean, the transportation of goods, the transportation of people, just like trains and railways, but perhaps even more so, has relied on this. So I'm going to go with the internal combustion engine, which comes from our understanding of thermodynamics. Number 10, and perhaps I'm ranking this higher, but I think it should even higher than it should be, but I actually think it may even be too low at this number, is heavier than air flight. The development of planes, and there was the development of planes and also helicopters, all sorts of devices that can move people from point A to point B by using the powers of lift and the thrust to do so. So those would be heavier than air flight, which at one stage was thought to be impossible, and now we know that it is indeed very, very possible. Right, so that would be at number 10. Number 9, I'm going to go with the family of electrochemical devices. These would include cells, capacitors. I'm also going to go with light bulbs and the development of the light bulb. All of these fall under the same rubric. Electrochemical cells, they allow us to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. Capacitors allow us to store that, and then bulbs, of course, allow us then to take that electrical energy and convert it into light energy. So I would put that at number 9. At number 8, I'm calling the 3 A's: anesthetics, antiseptics, and antibiotics. These 3 together have paved the way for modern medicine, and we wouldn't have modern medicine today without our ability to harness this, because really medicine to a large extent is about defeating the germs that ultimately, and the pathogens that ultimately cause disease. And certainly this has played an immense role in being able to do so. It's made modern surgery possible, and it's made the fact that infections, which were once a white killer of people, aren't, they still exist, but they aren't so powerful in that detrimental aspect. Number 7, I'm going to go with motors, electric motors and generators, and of course our use of AC current. This comes from the work of Michael Faraday, the unification under James Clerk Maxwell, and also the work of Nikola Tesla. And that, of course, has shaped our modern world and allowed us to live the kind of life that we have today, where we have essentially electricity on demand. The generators allow us to use electromagnetic induction to provide this electricity, and the motors then allow us to take this electricity or any type of electricity and then convert it into mechanical energy to make machines run more efficiently and with more power. So that's very, very important. And so that I would put in at number 7, motors and generators. Number 6, I'm going to go with transistors. And transistors allow us to control the flow of current. And this allows us to build integrated circuits. And this allows us to build the kind of computers we want. And of course, computers control the information age, the movement of all sorts of pockets of knowledge, if you want to talk about it, and communication. And this would not be possible to the extent that we have it today without transistors. If we had to rely on valves or tubes, we'd have computers that are immensely large and would not be practical, certainly on a home environment. The fact that we can have cell phones, the fact that we can have PCs and all of that has to do with the fact that we can use transistors, we can make them very, very small, and we can put them onto integrated circuits on chips, and with millions of them, billions of them, and this can make a huge impact into our power processing, which allows us to do an immense variety of different activities. So number 6 is transistors. Now, what I'm going into next is the core of what built up a civilization. So this is going back further in time. So these inventions are less modern, but they are absolutely fundamental to everything. And so with number 5, I'm going to go with the printing press, which was actually originally developed in Asia, but the European development occurred under Gutenberg and in Caxton in England. And this has allowed us to make the mass production of books, the exchange of knowledge, much more available, and played a huge role in driving the Renaissance, the Age of Reason, Enlightenment, etc. So this cannot, of course, be understated. That is the printing press, and that goes in at number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go in with the different developments of metal smelting and the ability to heat up metal, mix metals together, make different alloys. This has been an ongoing process. We saw this in the Bronze Age, we saw it in the Iron Age, and then we saw it later in the Industrial Revolution with the Bessemer process. So it's not just a single invention, but it's been a way of using metals, manipulating metals, and this allows us to make tools, to make machines, and essentially build the fundamentals of our civilization. So that would be metal smelting at number 4. It has ancient origins, but it has also modern usages and also modern improvements on it. Number 3, I'm going to go with the concept of machines, the various different machines. The most common one, of course, is the wheel and the axle, very, very important, developed in Mesopotamia, I believe. But there are other ones as well, pulleys, inclined planes, etc. All of these machines have allowed us to make use of a mechanical advantage, and this has allowed us to overcome resistance to a greater degree, and allowed for mass building projects, the movement of material, and for making life easier for all of us. And it all stems back to our understanding of the dynamic interplay between force and displacement. And that's what a machine really is. Screws and things like that, for example, are also a type of machine. And so that would be at number 3, all the different machines going back ancient times. And number 2, I would go with numeracy, the development of mathematics and quantitative techniques, whether it's basic arithmetic, geometry, algebra, trigonometry, calculus, topography, or the various incarnations of modern mathematics and number theory, etc. All of that has allowed us to quantify and to understand the universe and to build a dynamic framework in which we can process information and we can make the information make sense for us. So that is the numerical revolution. Certainly we live in a world dominated by science, and science would be nothing without our ability to quantify. So numeracy, very, very important. And number one in all of this, the one that I feel is the most important invention of all time, would be literacy, or the development of the written word and the various alphabets. This has allowed us to share communication, to exchange ideas, to pass on ideas to the next generation, and to actually keep our cultural and our civilization heritages going. Without the written word, we would have probably lost a great deal of the knowledge, and we would have struggled to exchange it, certainly on a larger group environment. So I would place that at number 1. So those are my rankings of the top 20 inventions. As I said, I set it up in such a way that it's by groups of inventions. Some people may say, what about the telephone? I believe that would be under the communication technology. If you feel that I've actually missed something out and that you feel that it should be included, please let me know. Otherwise, I'd be grateful if you could subscribe to this channel and you could give this video a thumbs up. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.